Good day. In this video, we are going to learn new things about security survey. So please do not hesitate to raise a question if there's something unclear. So without further ado, let's get started. So first, let's define what is security survey. A security survey is a thorough on-site examination and analysis of a facility to determine what assets are present and their value, to evaluate the existing security program, to identify differences or excesses, to determine the protection needed, and to support recommendations to improve overall security. The security survey includes a complete study and analysis of the business operations, its properties, personnel and installations, security hazards, both human and natural, are noted. Security survey team must include the security supervisors and other expert or pro in the security field. It is a fact-finding probe to determine the plan's adequacy and efficiency in all aspects of security. With the corresponding recommendations, it is also coined as the first detailed look C. So, ang security survey po ay isa siyang masusing proseso na kinakailangan na detalyado yung bawat impormasyon po na makukuha po natin sa loob po ng isang lugar, or let's say for example, business residence or sa isang kumpanya. So since it's a security survey, we are gathering information na dapat accurate at talagang kapaki-pakinabang when it comes to the safety and security ng kahit anumang bagay po na sakop ng kumpanya. So, sinusuri po natin dito hindi lang yung mga properties, kundi po pati yung mismong mga operation na ginagawa nila, like yung mga taong involved and everything. So, through survey, we gain enough details in order for us to recommend to the company kung ano-ano ba yung mga kakulangan, like kailangan ba mag-add ng security personnels, kailangan ba ng magdagdag ng installation ng CCTV cameras, ano ba yung mga dapat alisin kasi baka may mga bagay dyan or tao na maaring mag-cause ng hindi dapat, and ano ba yung mga dapat isalang-alang to ensure the overall safety and security ng plants or ng establishment. So, next po, the conduct of entrance conference. So, what is this? An entrance conference is a dialogue by and between the survey team and the management and officials of a plant before the security survey is being conducted. It is observed on the day the security survey is conducted by the security survey team and the executive staff of the company. At this short but meaningful conference, the conduct and attitude of the team members should exude and inspire confidence and cooperation. The team members should be properly attired to win the confidence of their clients. The entrance conference should be brief, factual, and sincere. After the short, informative dialogue, the team leader of security survey team bids excuse to start the long work ahead and relatively with all the items regarding the establishment's security. So, ito naman po yung tumutukoy sa formality po ng pag-uusap ng management or ng officials at ng survey team. So, bago po mag-conduct ng security survey, kinakailangan na tayo bilang isang miyembro ng survey team, dapat makita ng management po na handa tayo. So, dapat sa pananamit pa lang natin, sa tayo pa lang natin, sa gestures, makuha na natin agad yung tiwala at kumpiyansa nila. At hindi po dito kinakailangan na masyadong mahaba yung pakikipag-usap. Dapat yung mga sasabihin natin, related lang po dun sa conduct ng security at purong katotohanan lamang po. So, pagkatapos po, huwag tayong basta-basta aalis dun sa conversation. Dapat magpapa-excuse tayo ng maayos para simulan po natin yung survey. So, let's proceed po to the composition of the survey team. So, the first one, if and when a security survey is authorized by the management of the concerned industrial establishment, members of a security survey must be well qualified and specialized. If possible, it should not be a big overlap or layering duplication of work specialty. So, dapat po, though So, dapat po, kung authorized na daw po ng management yung survey team, nararapat lamang na yung mga miyembro po ng survey team ay qualified at talagang may sapat na pinag-aralan, mayroong training, at nag-undergo sila ng specialization in that field. So next po, a security survey is performed by qualified security experts who can be from the organization or outsiders contracted to do the job. So, yung nagkakandak po ng security survey ay yung mga bihasa or yung mga expert na maaaring galing sa isang organization or group or kahit saan po, basta qualified and may kontrata sila to do the job. So, next, the recommendation will fall into 3 categories. So, katulad po ng sabi natin kanina, after the survey, we can now recommend. So, the first category is the human guard. So, obviously, this refers to the security personnel. And second one is the equipment, yung mga gamit na kakailanganin for security purposes. And the last one is procedures. So letter D, the security survey team must be aware that a security problem will always exist in the same manner that there will never be a crimeless society. Team members are cognizant that installations will have different protective requirements. The security survey team will be accompanied by the organic personnel in the course of the security survey. So dito po, dapat naka-instill na sa isipan natin, sa isipan ng survey team na yung mga aberya na maaaring mangyari. So dapat aware tayo sa iba't ibang paraan na kailangan for security, and at the same time, while we're conducting that survey, dapat may kasama tayong security personnel, organic personnel na galing mismo po doon sa kumpanya. So, next one po, let's proceed to the security survey preparation. I hope it's clear po. So, first, a security survey is made of a definite and important purpose. To do this job means time, effort, and expenditures. For the job to be done thoroughly and well, adequate pre-survey preparations should be made. Hurried preparations and adequate pre-survey briefing can ruin all the security survey effort. So, ito po yung isa sa importanteng bagay na dapat isaalang-alang is yung pagkakaroon po ng pre-survey preparations. So, kasi po, once na may dati na tayong knowledge sa target establishment po natin, hindi po tayo masyadong mahihirapan. And at the same time, hindi po masasayang yung effort natin, yung oras, yung gastos once na prepared po tayo. Letter B, the security survey team should put in writing the security survey to be done in the form of a project plan or project study. So, kailangan po na mayroon po tayong written project plan in order for us to be reminded kung ano-ano ba yung mga dapat nating maisagawa. The plan should be detailed as possible but not to a point of trivial monotony. The same plan, a brief history of the installation, the progress and changes, if any, as well as the objectives and mission of organization be included. So dito po, though we have our detailed plan or what we are going to do, kahit kumpleto na yan, dapat po maging interesting pa rin po yung gagawin natin. Para po siguro nandun pa rin yung, let's say, excitement to do that particular task. So, next po. Letter E, finally, a checklist should be prepared for members of the security team. For example, there will be a different checklist for classified materials or information. So, yung checklist po is of course napaka-importante kasi 'di ba tayo ngang estudyante gumagawa tayo ng checklist kasi para hindi natin makalimutan yung mga proseso, para malaman natin kung ano na ba yung mga natapos natin at ano pa ba yung mga gagawin natin para wala tayo pong nakakaligtaan. So F, the members of the team should meet several times to review the project plan and to evolve the mode of approach in the security survey. So dito po nagkakaroon po tayo ng parang brainstorming, sharing of ideas in order for our task to be done successfully. So, and the last one po, before the entrance conference, the first approach is to secure plans, data, and other materials prior to the conduct of the security survey. These forms and other literature should be submitted during the pre-survey and possibly for inclusion in the project plan. So, dapat po ready yung lahat ng mga kailangan natin bago po tayo haharap po doon sa management. So, let's come now on how we are going to develop the security survey po. So, the topics to be considered in developing a security survey are as follows. The first one is the planning, purpose, and degree. So, dito po naman po napapaloob yung pagpaplano, ano ba yung pakay natin, and gaano ba dapat kadami yung kinakailangang seguridad when it comes to the physical security, personal security, document security, and security consultant. So, yung security consultant po, yan po yung tinatawag nating security analyst or yung mga IT. Di ba po, sila po yung responsible sa computer systems, mga software programs, sa security networks, di ba, para hindi po tayo napapasok ng mga hackers. So, the second one is the responsibilities. So, dapat po may include natin sa survey kung sino-sino ba yung mga responsible sa specific area. So, we have here the parking, the visitor control, security hazard, which is for human and natural, employee pilferage. So, pag sinabi nating employee pilferage, yun yung pagnanakaw po ng empleyado dun sa sa establishment nila. Yung pagkuha ng mga gamit na hindi naman sa kanila, pagkuha ng goods. So, yun po. Next is the outside losses. F is in disaster and civil disturbances planning, the fire and safety responsibilities, and other special events. So number 4 po is the issues, policies, and procedures. So dito naman po nakapaloob yung kung kailan at kung bakit natin i-address po yung mga issues and policies at kung kailan po sila kinakailangan. So we have here for legal basis, for education and training, manuals, that is general and specific, intelligence gathering, contract guards versus in-house guards, sidearms versus none, extra chores, that is for escort, lock-up, room checks, protect transfer of monies. And letter H is guard force versus hardware, I is for uniform versus non-uniform, contact with local law enforcement, security guards, outside security consultant, and of course the staff and employees. So these issues, policies, and procedures po are important things to consider because this will help the management on how they are going to manage the staff effectively. So next, let's proceed po to the conduct of the security survey. After the security survey is developed, someone should physically walk through the establishment, observing and talking to personnel to obtain the required information. So usually, the security survey is conducted by the security director, but it may be conducted by outside security consulting firm. So, after natin matapos yung security survey, meron tayong member na pupunta doon sa establishment to gather informations through observing and sa pagkikipag-usap na rin po sa mga personnels. It is important to realize that evaluation may be inherently threatening. No one wants to be found responsible for a breach of security, but employees must be honest in their responses if the results of the security survey are valid. So, dapat po alam natin na yung ginagawa natin ay hindi basta-basta. Maari kasi po dito na hindi po makipag-cooperate yung mga respondents dahil sa takot na baka may mga nagawa na pala silang paglabag sa seguridad. Pero we need to ensure pa rin na yung magiging response nila ay totoo for us to gather factual informations. So therefore, it is important to establish the correct climate so that employees will cooperate and answer questions honestly. Of utmost importance is explaining the purpose of the security survey to those from whom information is requested. Without such an explanation, the people interviewed may feel they are under suspicion for their actions. Many of the interviewing techniques are applicable in conducting the survey. So, dito naman kinakailangan po na alam natin kung saan tayo lulugar. So, dapat po na ipaliwanag natin ng maayos sa respondents kung ano yung pakay natin. Kasi, di ba kapag tayo nga may nagtatanong sa atin tungkol sa mga bagay-bagay, we feel na uncomfortable, especially kapag hindi natin kilala yung nagtatanong. So, dito po, sa security survey, marami din naman na iba't ibang paraan ng pakikipagpanayam yung maaari po nating gamitin. So, that's it po. Kung may mga questions po kayo, please do not hesitate to raise po. So, let's proceed to the details in security survey. The details in the security survey will vary depending on the degree of security required. A thorough security survey would include, first one, the general area, as well as all roads and streets leading to the facility. Second, the perimeter, including the fencing, warning signs, and the no parking areas. Third one is the buildings, including the construction and possible points of unauthorized entry, entrances and exits, entry controls, locks and keys, alarm systems, and security lightnings. Fourth, the identification of restricted areas, including computer rooms. Fifth, procedures to control theft or pilferage of property or classified material or information. Sixth, employees' safety, including the fire protection and emergency plans. 7 is the security personnel required, including the needed training and responsibilities. And the last one is the security indoctrination of all employees. All potential targets of attack should be identified, and the means of eliminating them should also be identified. So, for example, is the facility susceptible to or reducing hazard to these targets specified? Pure hazard accidents, arson, auto theft, bombs, robbery, fraud, kidnapping, sabotage, theft, pilferage, or vandalism. For each pure hazard identified, appropriate security measures should be recommended. The security survey team must list the components of the security system to be observed and evaluated. Many of such exist. There are multitudes of security surveys for various types of establishments. So, lahat po ng mga bagay na maaring magdulot ng kapahamakan doon sa facilities ay dapat po makita po at ma-analyze natin during the survey. So, dapat po nasa notes natin, nasa lista po natin yan para po mapag-aralan, ma-evaluate at maalaman po natin yung appropriate things to do. So next po, we have the increase in security survey. So here are some of the standard areas of inquiry that should be covered by the security survey. So the first one, the profit and loss statements for the preceding 2 or 3 years to provide a better understanding of business and trends. The second one is an organizational guide chart, the background and operations of industrial establishments, management procedures and philosophies, and corporate personality. Then the third one, present year capital and operating budget covering a 4-year financial projection that will give insight as to the present and the reorganizational patterns and operations. Fourth, a description of the establishment and manual, if available, or security programs of special problems, specific corporate, industry, or host government security sensitivities. And the last one, the fifth one is the internal and external audit reports and action taken for the last years. Sixth, minutes from meetings of committees on purchasing, insurance, contributions, construction, new business ventures, loss prevention, or unity procedures, credit of debt rights of, and etc. Seven, policy and accounting procedures or insurance coverage, and the last 3 years' experience on loss claims, recoveries, and premiums. 8. Copy of employee relations policy statements and discussions of present situation. Government and public relations policy statement and discussion of present situation. So number 10, sorry po, nagkamali po tayo ng numbering. Number 10 po is the files on all written or verbal complaints, claims, and threats. Their signs are anonymous within the last 3 years. 11, written or stated corporate policy or on integrity. And next is the management's own evaluation of its corporate security posture and security hazard areas. The last one is any subject that the management feels that it can contribute to assuring the fullest results from the conduct of security survey. So next po, the purposes of security survey. So after a careful review of the original information, the security consultant or the security officer assigns for specific survey tasks including physical security, fire safety, emergency preparedness, prevention, internal and external security factors, and other areas. So the following must be evaluated. So the first one, determining relative criticality, relative vulnerability, and relative probability. So when we say relative criticality, this refers to the importance of an establishment with reference to the national economy and survey, while vulnerability po is the susceptibility of the plant or the establishment to damage, loss, or destruction due to various hazards. And yung relative probability naman po is the actual occurring situation or the ratio of the number of the outcomes. So the second one is the effect of security measures on efficiency and operations of the installations. Third, the practical limitations imposed by the physical characteristics of the operations of installations. Fourth, potential security hazard, whether human or natural. Fifth, evaluation of potential damage and losses on the investment security hazard scale. Sixth, alternate measures or techniques. So, alternative or alternate measures po yan, or techniques of security operations of concepts. Seventh, overall evaluation and appraisal of security capabilities with the effective utilization of all available resources. And the last one is the cost estimates, and justifications at different levels of security assurance.
Good day everyone. So I am the second reporter and the topic that I am going to discuss is about the completing the security survey. So the security survey is a necessary first step in establishing or ensuring an adequate security posture. So alam naman po natin na kapag magkakandak tayo or mag-establish po tayo ng security survey, yung unang step po na ginagawa natin ay alamin kung anong mas kailangan o kung anong mga recommendations para ma-improve ang overall security ng isang lugar. So meron po tayong mga ways on how to conduct a survey na magpo-provide ng standardization and completeness. So first is security questionnaire. So the first in affording proper protection an establishment or industrial facility against the varied types of security hazard is to prepare and complete a detailed security survey of questionnaire to assure that this includes all the information necessary in establishing the degree of security required. Uniform procedure must be established and the security survey team must develop a thorough and objective understanding of the company's basic philosophy and operating policies. So, yung security questionnaire po, isa po siyang tool na tumutukoy para ma-evaluate and ma-validate yung organization security practices ng isang establishment or organization. So, kailangan po nila dito ng detailed and cleared questionnaires para ma-assure na lahat ng information ay maayos naman na mabasa o makita ng mga pagkakandakan po ng survey. Next is the plant purpose. So the purpose of operations of a given plant or facility determine greatly the degree of security required. So once this purpose is clearly defined, it will assist the security survey team in simulating sound security recommendations and eliminate the possibility of security procedures interfering with plant or installations activities. So kapag sinabi po natin na plant purpose, ito po yung integrated workplace na usually all in one location siya. So kapag clear na po yung purpose na yon, i-assist niya po yung security survey team sa mga security recommendations ng establishments. So next po is the maps, charts, and blueprints. So it is said that maps of an installation are important to security survey team. Most industrial facilities have a scale map of the plant, which in most cases will incorporate a bit deal of useful information. This includes the number and ignition, fence lines, roads, power plants, and available water, and etc. So these maps might be attached as an appendix to the security survey report with references to eliminate much detailed description. So sabi po dito, isa po to sa pinaka-importante when it comes to security survey team kasi nagpo-provide ito ng useful informations in regards sa workplace or location, especially sa facility ng isang organization or establishment. So including na dito yung mga number and ignition, yung boundary lines, yung mga roads, yung mga power plant na magge-generate ng mga electricity at kung ano pang mga available water ang kailangan. So dapat yung maps na to is ma-attach sa security survey report para sa much detailed description ng kanilang gagawing survey. So next po tayo, we have the survey preparation. So before conducting a security survey, the team members must review the information received from management and develop appropriate contacts inside and outside of that the information gathered is balanced. So pag sinabi pong survey preparation, from the word itself preparation, means dapat prepared po tayo before po tayo mag-conduct ng security survey or before tayo mag-disseminate ng information sa mga respondents. Kasi if meron pong pagkakamali na nagawa in preparing a survey, it can affect your business fatally due to misinterpretation of your survey. And yung misinformation na po yun may point you in wrong direction. Kaya dapat po well prepared po tayo sa pag-conduct ng survey para di po masayang yung efforts natin or yung efforts po ng management team. Next, meron po tayong weather data security survey. So sabi po dito, team should obtain the most detailed weather data that can be procured. A comprehensive examination of this data, covering storms, flood, cold and heat patterns, will assist in determining the requirement and the need for formulation of plans adequate to meet possible or probable problems or emergencies. If relevant, earthquake data should be included in this category. So yung team is kailangan po nilang ma-obtain yung most detailed data kasi po yung survey na yon is magpo-provide siya ng information na necessary para ma-achieve yung appropriate levels of safety and security ng organization na kailangan to cost-effectively limit risk and liability and para na din makaprepare sila for continued operations during potential crisis. So next, meron po tayong neighboring areas. So sabi po dito, the economic status of areas adjacent to the installation will have a definite bearing on the degree of security required. For example, an industry that is seasonal or prone to layoff period or prolonged periods of unemployment for large group in nearby communities will tend to have a raised rate of pilferage and theft. People who are out of work can at each point of desperation lower their resistance to temptations. So dito na po papasok yung problem ng isang community which is the poverty or kakapusan sa pangangailangan ng isang tao. Kasi for example, because of unemployment, there's a lot of people na maaaring makapag-commit ng pilferage or theft kasi nga kapos sila sa pera or sa pang-araw-araw na gastos. Kaya dapat po sinusurvey natin yung gantong area kasi mas prone sila sa crime and mas need nila ng security. And dito na po papasok yung pag-install natin ng mga CCTV cameras to provide your employees a safer place to work and para na din ma-ensure yung anumang reprehensible activities na pwedeng makuha. So we have also number and categories of personnel. So the number and categories of personnel employed is mandatory information for a security survey. Many of these measures recommended will be derived directly from this data. The most desirable from in which to have this information is the number of temporary employees, the number of contractual employees, and the number of directly hired employees presently working. If increase or cuts are contemplated for the immediate future, this should be included in the survey. So napaka-importante po na sa security survey malaman mo po yung information kung ilan ba yung number and categories of personnel na employed doon sa isang establishments or company. Dapat meron ka pong enough information kung ilan ba yung temporary employees nila, kung ilan ba yung contractual employees nila, and kung ilan yung number of directly hired employees nila na currently na nag-work sa company nila. Kasi if in case na merong madagdag or mabawas dun sa mga employee nila, they should be included na in the survey. So kailangan na po silang i-include dun sa survey para malaman kung ano po yung mga reasons kung bakit sila nagbawas at dumagdag. Next, we have operational flow plans. So the operational flow plan of a plant or facility will indicate to the security survey team its various operations and how they are performed. Avoiding interference with the missions of the plant should be uppermost security survey team and the minds of the members of the security survey team. So dito na po papasok yung various operations po na kinakandak ng security survey team and kung paano po nila ito piniperform ng maayos. Kumbaga, ito po ay isang strategic document na may outline sa lahat ng plans na related sa daily operations and processes na required sa successful business. Kumbaga, nagpo-provide din ito na framework for an organization sa pang-araw-araw nilang operations. So next, we have emergency and disaster plans. So, sabi dito, while in some very small operations, the existence of a written emergency or disaster plan is not mandatory. The need for advanced planning is always necessary. So, if an installation has a prepared emergency disaster plan, it should be kept current. So, and if the plan does not appear to be adequate, a recommendation or adjustment will be made part of the security survey report. If the plan is adequate, the recommended security measure should be consistent with the disaster plan. So, dapat daw po yung napapanahon yung pag-prepare natin ng emergency and disaster plan. Kasi kung hindi siya mag-a-appear doon sa emergency na nangyari, magkakaroon ng recommendations or adjustments sa security survey report. Pero kung yung plan naman is adequate, yung recommended security measure ay dapat consistent sa disaster plan kasi sila yung magpo-promote ng safety awareness and magpapakita ng commitment nila sa safety ng mga employees. Sunod po, meron pa tayong conducting the survey. So, to provide guidance and a degree of standardization, a list of general and specific questions have to be used by the security survey team. The questions should be answered in keeping with the factors that influence the security survey. So, the question must provide adequate background and information for a comprehensive analysis and assessment of the security hazard and requirements, and will be the basis for a complete security report to be later presented to management during the conduct of exit briefing. So dito po yung mga questions na gagamitin natin is dapat po accurate and kapaki-pakinabang when it comes sa safety and security o anumang bagay na sakop ng company. And also dapat po yung list of question natin is from general to specific na siya, kasi lahat po ng magagather natin na information or details, yun po yung i-recommend natin sa company kung ano ba yung mga kakulangan or kung ano ba yung dapat isaalang-alang to ensure the overall security of establishments na ipipresent po natin during the conduct of exit briefing. Next is the law enforcement agencies. So the degree of security that may be established and the measures and techniques that may be used to establish it will partially depend upon the law enforcement agencies in areas adjacent to the facility. And security survey team should determine what assistance can be depended upon and the amount and type of jurisdiction each agency possess. Kasi po 'di ba alam naman natin na yung mga law enforcement agencies, sila po yung mga nagpapatupad ng batas and sa kanila po nakasalalay kung anong maaaring hakbang at pamamaraan in terms po sa seguridad ng isang establishment or company. Next is the fire stations. So the location of fire stations in relation to facility will be of prime importance in the security mission. So the distance to each fire station, the types and numbers of pieces of equipment, the member and qualification of firemen, and mutual aid agreements which the plant may have with the fire bureau should be considered purposely to determine the degree of protection that will be afforded. So, yung fire station kasi is also one of the needs in the security mission. So, detrimental kasi siya sa safety ng mga staff and business kung yung employees aren't educated sa potential fire hazards and safety protocol. So, yung BFP, together with their applicable equipment, sila na yung mag-aalaw ng fastest response sa possible emergency within that establishment or area. Next, we have security survey information. So, emphasis had been already given to security survey, techniques, and operational procedure for gathering the information and intelligence required, and have been seen management's role in this phase of the security survey. For this information to be meaningful, it must be put to use in an organized and purposeful manner. So the security survey team carries out in-depth discussions with corporate executives, employees, laborers, and non-company sources to provide an adequate sampling of facts, opinions, and comments. Also, they conduct thorough inspections, reviews, and operational sampling to provide reliable evidence and sources of information for qualified professional evaluation and analysis of present and foreseeable security hazard and of the challenges to the corporation and its operational units. So dapat kapag magkakandak po tayo ng security survey, dapat po yung information is organized and in purposeful manner siya. So when we say purposeful, dapat po mapakita natin yung full determination natin na useful po yung information na i-disseminate po natin. And kailangan din natin na magkaroon ng in-depth discussion together with all the persons in one organizations or establishment para malaman din natin kung ano yung mga comments, opinions, and suggestions nila. And hindi lang po dito sinusuri yung properties, pati na rin po yung operations nila, like yung mga taong involved and yung mga source of information. So next is the conduct of exit conference. So sabi dito, the exit conference is similar to entrance conference and it is done after the completion of the security survey. So hence, after the completion of the security survey, the team will again call the top management for an exit conference. So the team leader will brief the management on the summary of the findings. Exchange of comments can be made although no remark is made on the report findings, especially in the deficiencies. So dito po sa conduct of exit conference, ito po yung meeting na ginagawa after nilang mag-survey where yung team leaders i-brief niya yung management team or nasasakupan niya para i-discuss yung findings nila and recommendations sa report. Kung ano ba yung mga kakulangan, kung maglalagay ba ng installations like CCTV camera, kung mag-a-add ba ng security personnel, or kung may mga tao bang pwedeng alisin kasi di natin alam na nagkakos na pala sila ng hindi dapat sa company. So next is the reporting the security survey. Once the security survey was concluded, the security hazard analysis is completed, and the alternatives for handling it are selected. The information must be communicated to individuals who can act on the findings. So kumbaga, ito po yung after nyo nang makapag-conduct ng survey. So, i-communicate mo na po ng maayos yung information na nag-gather nyo to individuals na pwedeng mag-react or magsuri doon sa findings na nakuha nyo. So, it should be written into a comprehensive report that includes at minimum the following sections. So, first is the introduction. So, this includes a brief summary of the purpose of the security survey, the anticipated hazard, and the identified needs and objectives of the total security system. It also includes a description of the security survey developed and conducted to assess the system. It includes the copy of the security survey in an appendix at the end of the security survey report. So sa introduction, ito po yung action of introducing something. So dapat po dito pa lang sa introduction ay magsisimula ka na sa pag-provide sa reader ng general understanding or summary ng purpose ng security survey na pinag-conduct mo, and yung mga possible na panganib na maaaring mangyari, and yung mga identified needs and objectives ng total security system. So second is the discussion of the hazard analysis. So in the area of the security hazard analysis, the following must be discussed: A. Strength of what is working well, and B. Weakness of the system, areas of vulnerability and potential risk, arranged in the order of priority system. So dito po dinidiscuss kung ano po yung mga gagamitan na nag-work ng maayos, kung ano ba yung mga weaknesses ng system, and kung ano yung mga potential risk na pwedeng mangyari. So, dinidiscuss po yun dito para mabigyan po sila ng priority. So, yun. And the third one is the recommendations. So, this provide alternatives for managing the security hazard, including the estimated cost and savings, and who should be responsible for making the changes. The completed security survey and the inspection report and any copies of this document should be treated as confidential matter. This can be observed through the conduct of exit conference. So, dito na po papasok yung mga suggestions or proposal na best doon sa ginawang survey to improve the overall security. So, dito na po yung magkakaroon na po yung alternatives, solution para ma-manage po yung security hazard. And papasok na din po dito yung budgeting para ma-estimate po yung cost and savings ng gagawing changes and kung sino po yung responsible dito sa pagbabago na to. And also, and probably ginagawa to kapag nagkakandak po ng exit conference kasi it should be treated on confidential matter. Kumbaga, ilang tao lang po or ilang mga sa management team lang yung mga nakakaalam ng mga suggestions or recommendations ng findings nila. So the next one is the implementing the recommendations. So implementing the recommended changes is management's responsibility. Changes might include modifying procedures, improving or upgrading security equipment, or adding additional security equipment or personnel. Budgeting is always an important consideration in implementing any recommended changes. So papasok na po dito yung mga suggestions or recommendations na ginawa doon sa exit conference. Kumbaga, yung management team na po yung may responsibility dito, and yung mga changes na regarding sa pag-upgrade ng mga security equipment and pag-add ng mga security equipment or personnel. And papasok na po dito yung budgeting kasi kung walang pera, how can we improve and add those security equipment or personnel if we don't have enough money, di ba po? Kaya sa pag-implement ng mga recommended changes, budgeting is always an important consideration. Budgeting efforts may be facilitated by dividing cost into specific categories. So budget requirements may limit somewhere at the extent of implementation. Some changes may not be made for weeks or months, but a schedule should be established so that high priority changes are made first. Implementing the recommendation also frequently requires tact and diplomacy. So sa pagbabudget kasi, isa po siyang important pillar para sa overall success and security. Kapag meron kayong budgeting, it can help an organization or establishment to make more informed about financial decisions. So the security managers, establishment's overall plan, goals, and needs must recognize the security system that does not operate in a vacuum but relies on the understanding and support of all persons involved in the business or industry. Consequently, it is important that the security managers build acceptance and trust and that they act as professionals who understand and respect the needs of others. So dapat yung mga security managers po is mag-build sila ng acceptance and trust sa mga nasasakupan niya, and as a professional, mag-act po sila na professional and na naiintindihan po and nire-respect po yung mga nasasakupan niya. Kumbaga, the managers and the employees or yung mga nasasakupan na, they should respect each other para magkaroon lang po sila ng good communications. The last one is the conducting the security inspection. So, evaluation of security should be ongoing. The effects of changes made as a result of the security survey should be studied. For example, if a need for personal training is identified and the program instituted, the effectiveness of the training should be assessed. Periodic unannounced audits should be conducted on security procedures such as cash handling or check cashing. So some aspects of the security system such as closing procedures are checked daily. Other components should have regular schedule of security inspection. The needs and objectives of the entire security system should be re-evaluated annually. Security systems needs changes as an establishment grows or as the neighborhood changes. If the locality installs street lights or provides routine police patrol, the establishments may need less of its own external security. So dito po sa conducting the security inspection, sinusuri mo po yung bawat changes na ginawa nyo during security survey. Kumbaga, mini-make sure mo kung effective ba ito or hindi. Kaya merong mga aspects ng security system na kailangan ni-check daily. Meron din mga components na yung security inspection nila is in regular schedule. And kapag naman yung mga kailangan and objectives ng entire security system ay kailangan silang i-check annually. However, kung yung neighborhood mo ay mas maging worse or tumaas lalo yung krimen na mangyari, mas kailangan po ng madaming security para ma-ensure yung safety ng mga tao sa isang company or establishments. Yan lamang po at maraming salamat sa pakikinig.